Welcome back to Weightless Productivity. Today we're diving deep into something that honestly could transform how you think about and deal with email. We're talking about shifting your mindset completely, from responding to processing your emails. And honestly, I think your sanity might actually thank you for it.
You know what's funny? Most of us treat email like it's this never-ending tennis match. We get a message and boom, we just like fire back a response.
It's so true.
But what if I told you that this back and forth volley is actually creating more work and stress than necessary?
It's like we're on autopilot,
Hmm.
just reacting to every single message instead of like stepping back and being like, okay, wait a minute. What is the most effective way to deal with this?
Exactly. And that's where the power of processing comes in. Instead of hitting reply right away, you learn to assess each email, pull out what's important, and then decide what to do next.
So how do we actually make that shift from that like reactive responding mode to a more strategic processing approach?
I want you to imagine this. When you sit down to go through your inbox, you're not there to just react to every single thing. You're there to make choices about how to handle each one. Could be deleting it, could be archiving it, could be pulling out a piece of information and putting it somewhere else. And there's a really good analogy for this. So imagine you're a lifeguard. You're not just gonna jump in the water every time somebody yells, right? There's a system.
Right. You're talking about reach, throw, row, go, right? Lifeguards use that to assess the situation and figure out how to respond.
Exactly. And we can use a similar framework for email with a system called walk, talk, type. It helps us prioritize our actions and pick the right way to communicate.
Okay, let's break that down. Walk means actually getting up and talking to the person if they're nearby.
Exactly. It seems super obvious, but think about how many emails you could just skip by having a quick conversation.
And you get that human connection, which is so important.
Totally. It can make things so much clearer. And when walking isn't possible, we move to talk, meaning pick up the phone and have a conversation. You get the benefit of tone of voice, which helps avoid misunderstandings.
It's not about mindlessly reacting to every message. It's about consciously choosing how and when to engage.
Exactly. And you know what's really important? It's not just about reducing the number of emails. It's about picking the best way to communicate in each situation. Sometimes a 5-minute conversation is better than 1,000 emails.
It's about being what we call surgically responsive.
Yeah, that's a great term. Surgically responsive means being deliberate and intentional, responding only when you really need to and in a way that truly adds value.
I'm already feeling less stressed just thinking about all the emails I could replace with phone calls. But what about those times when you don't need a full-on conversation?
Even when we do have to type, there are things we can do to make our emails clear, concise, and action-oriented. When you do have to write that email, think like a journalist. Get straight to the point. Put the most important information up front, like a headline.
Oh, I see. So no burying the ask under paragraphs of background.
Yeah.
You're saying we lead with the key question or request.
That's it. It's about respecting the reader's time, getting to the heart of the matter.
Definitely. And like a good news article, use formatting to help the reader.
Yeah.
Break up the text with headings, bullet points, and bolding. Makes it much easier to skim.
Right. And speaking of responses, when you're emailing multiple people, be really careful about who you put in the to and CC fields.
Yeah, it's easy to just add everyone who might be even remotely interested.
But think about it. Every person you add might feel like they have to read and respond. We don't want to overload people with information.
It's about being mindful of everyone's time. So what about when you need to ask a question in an email? Any tips for avoiding that reply?
Totally. Whenever you can address your question to a specific person, it just makes it clear who needs to answer.
Like assigning a task. If it's not clear who's accountable, it's less likely to get done.
And here's something that might seem counterintuitive. Try to delay sending emails when possible, especially ones that need a thoughtful response.
So instead of hitting send right away, let it sit in drafts for a bit. I admit, I'm usually so quick to get things off my plate.
Yeah.
What's the benefit of waiting?
It gives you a chance to look at it again, make sure it's really necessary and well written. Sometimes you might realize you don't even need to send it. Or maybe there's a better way to handle it. Remember, it's all about processing, not responding. It all starts with shifting your mindset, from reacting to every message to proactively processing information.
And if you want more tips and strategies to achieve that weightless productivity, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our newsletter at weightlessproductivity.com.
We'll be back next time with more insights to help you navigate the digital world with intention and grace.